Well, then introduce yourselves, one at a time, I guess, starting with Brian.
Brian Vaughn, artistic director here at the Utah Shakespeare Festival.
David Ivers, the other artistic director here at the Utah Shakespeare Festival.
And just so the people watching the video online can know, briefly describe each of you your history with the Shakespearean Festival.
I started in 1991, actually. I was a student here at SUU, Southern Utah University, and my very first summer, while I was a student there, I auditioned for the festival and was cast in the Green Show. And I did 2 years in the Green Show, and then graduated to become an equity actor. Intern actor. Yeah, I went from Green Show to equity actor.
Yeah, that's a leap.
Yeah, I know, right? It was magic. An intern actor, and then I was part of that acting company, and then became an equity actor. And so I've basically been involved with the company for about 20 years now. And while I was a student here at SUU, I was also worked in education and many of the different departments internally on the administrative side of the organization. But yeah, it's a great place. I love it.
And David?
I started here in 1992 as an intern in the acting company, and then was part of the regular non-union company, and then eventually returned as an equity company member, and similar kind of story. This is, I think, almost 20 years, 15 seasons over almost 20 years since I started. So it's pretty exciting.
And for our readers who don't know, David, why don't you describe for them what an artistic director is and what the job description includes?
Well, I was hoping you could tell me. Well, a large part of there's several components. There's day-to-day operations, managing staff, working closely with staff to make sure that we're lined up and efficiently running in terms of directly for Brian and I. That's our production departments and our education departments. But it's also general day-to-day business practices as well. And the bigger picture stuff in terms of, I guess, the more glitzy stuff is we hire our artists, our actors, designers, directors, voice and text coaches, fight directors. We put together our programming, season selection, and we try as best we can to represent the interests of the festival as a body, as a face, as ambassadors, and where this sort of art intersects business and commerce.
Great. Do you have anything to add to that, Brian?
No, that's
We finally have a
pretty
job
thorough,
description.
man. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I always just say all things artistic, you know. But basically, that's what it is.
Sometimes that means cutting cake.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right.
That's
Shaking
nice.
hands.
Now you mentioned David mentioned season selection. How next season you have Merry Wives of Windsor, Hamlet, Titus Andronicus. How do you decide which Shakespeare scripts, which combination fall into are selected for a season?
Well, that's a great question, obviously, and it's interestingly enough, that's one of the heated moments in our entire staff because everybody's really passionate about the work, because that's what we do. You know, we do theater and we do plays, and people want to see plays that they like, and they want us to revisit plays that maybe we've done a long time ago. You know, one of our interests was sort of exploring some of these plays that we've rarely produced, and one of our charges and the mandates that we've put on ourselves and the organization is that we'd like to produce the entire canon within the next 10 years. I think it's important for our audience to see the scope of Shakespeare's work, and I think it's important for them to celebrate some of those plays that might not be as produced as frequently as, say, Taming of the Shrew or Midsummer Night's Dream, and that there's relevance and value in some of those plays that aren't produced that often. So part of our charge next year was sort of having balance, you know. Titus Andronicus is a play that we've done once in our entire 50-year history, and we felt it was a play that we should bring back. It's sort of cinematic, and I sort of like to think of it as, this sort of
Bloody.
Blockbuster fare, sort of summer movie fair type,
It really is.
show for theater. But it's also a young Shakespeare, a young writer experimenting with the revenge tragedy. And so we wanted to couple that with a play where he really mastered that theme, and that was the idea by producing Hamlet, to show both ends of the spectrum. A young playwright experimenting with Titus Andronicus, which actually was one of the most popular plays during his lifetime, interestingly enough, with Hamlet, which is, of course, the greatest tragedy ever written. And so that part of that thinking went into selecting the season. And of course, again, it goes with balance of putting a play like Merry Wives in there, which is a good starter Shakespeare for a lot of young patrons, young audience members. And it also has one of the greatest creations in literature, and that's Sir John Falstaff, And then Mary Stuart was a play that David and I were just really extremely passionate about. I love the debate in the play, and it's got two powerhouse roles for women, female actresses.
That was Sir John Falstaff's tractor.
Yeah, just going by.
His golf cart is playing through.